We all perceive five principal categories of the objects in the observable universe, which are solid, liquid, gas, fire or plasma, and the space, right? So let us discuss how we are able to objectify the universe in these five principal categories of objects, or let's say, what are the reasons which is responsible to enable us in a helpless manner to objectify the whole universe in these five constituent objects, let's say. So to to understand that, we need to know what are the principal objects to our sense organs, because we are perceiving the whole universe by our sense organs. We have five sense organs: the organ of vision, organ of listening, organ of tasting, smelling, and touching, right? So eye, brain, nerves, those are not the organ of vision. We have a separate video for that, and we will discuss it much more detail in the upcoming videos, but just letting you know, because our whole body is nothing but a pile of actions, from chemical actions to mechanical actions. All sorts of actions are constituting our body, which is an object. An object is nothing but the action. The interaction between energy and object is action that we perceive. So uh, anything is basically an action, and an action cannot be the knower because it's already changing all the time. So which is changing or which is in constant action, it cannot be the knower. It can only act, and it cannot know itself while acting. That's the thing. You have to you have to very clear about that. Okay, so we will also discuss that aspect as well. But for now, let's see how we are objectifying the whole universe in five objects. So if we consider the organ of vision, the primary object that we can perceive is color. Color is an object. Color is an object to our organ of vision. But we perceive different colors, diverse colors in the universe. And the same is true for the organ of hearing. We have different sounds, all sorts of sounds are there. The same is true for the organ of touch. The principal object is the touch itself, but we have all sorts of touch experience, like the smooth surface or the rough surface, the hot surface or the cold surface, etc. So all those things are there. And then comes the organ of taste, which is also experiencing a wide spectrum of tastes. And then comes the organ of smell, which is also smelling a lots of different smells in the observable universe. So what we see, or what we can understand, is that to experience one particular sensation, let's say to experience a particular color, red, we need to have other colors so that we can compare that this is actually red, right? To compare white, we need to have black. To compare anything, we need to have another thing, because comparison is must for experiencing. Without comparison, there will be no experience. If there is only white, no black, then we won't be able to objectify it as white, because the white will not be an object for us anymore. We can only objectify based on multiplicity. This is philosophy. This is not philosophy. I would say this is seeing something as it is. A very beautiful term is there in Indian Sanskritam language, which is called darshan. Darshan means seeing as it is. And when you are seeing anything as it is, you don't need any proof. You don't need to argue with anyone, because you are just looking at what it is. But when you are not looking on any object as it is, you are proposing something, that this is that, then you need to bring or introduce the logic, the finest logic is mathematics, which is used to prove any argument in the philosophy of physics or the philosophy of chemistry or biology, etc. We will come into those aspects. But right now, what we are going through is just seeing as it is. No hypothesis, no introduction of any concepts, no frame of reference like three dimension, time, etc. All those are unreal because those are introduced by us. Again, we will discuss in detail all those things. So what we understand is comparison is must for experience by our sense organs, and to be able to compare we need diversity or multiplicity in the universe, but we don't know why the multiplicity exists in the in the whole universe. That we are going to dig deep to understand why it is like that. Again, we have to follow the facts, no assumption, not even believing any kind of belief that that person said it like that, so we are going to follow blindly on his statement. We are going to discuss, we are going to explore the actual thing by ourselves, and that will only be the most satisfying thing to us. Okay, so we have observation of different colors, sound, taste, touch and smell, and we need to diversify. I mean, we need this diversity or this for comparison, so that we can have a specific experience, like a specific color or sound, etc. This is a summary table that we have discussed right now. So what we have in our hand is different colors, sounds, touches, etc. And those are the reason why we are able to further objectify the universe in five principal categories, which are the solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and space. So to to understand this the process of objectification, let's consider this landscape. What we are seeing here, the trees, the grass, the water, the sky, etc., right? But those are the phenomena, or those are the, I would say, not phenomena, those are the terms or the concepts introduced to us by the elders. We are believing that this is this, this is that, but that's actually not we are observing. We are observing the solid texture, the liquid texture, the gaseous texture, the plasma, the fire, and the space. Let's go one by one. So what is a solid? We name a solid which has a certain form that is hard to disrupt. Let's say a stone, or a log, or anything which has some sort of resistance to which helps to make the shape in proper condition for a long time. But that's not true for liquid. We can put the liquid in any cup or any vessel so that it will change its shape accordingly. That's the same thing for the gas. But solid is something which prevents in modifying it, right? And those are the objects that we call as solid. And definitely those characteristics comes from different touch experience, different color, and different sound, taste, smell. All those five elements or five characteristics are involved for for solid or different types of solid. Again, there are different types of solids, but the main criteria for being solid is it's preventing us or preventing someone or preventing any force to distort it from the shape that it's having right now. The next is the liquid, which also have the tendency like the solid, but the tendency is much weaker. So we can do anything we want with the liquid. And this is, again, the gas is also like the liquid, but in much more flexible form, so it can be, I mean, we cannot control even the gas, so it's basically out of control. It can go anywhere it wants, based on the energies of the surroundings. And then comes the plasma, the fire. So this is a distinct state. So to understand it, let us consider the burning process, what's going on when something is burning. So if a fuel is burning, for example propane, the process is, uh, this is propane, and it will produce carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water, and there will be some unburned carbon in elemental form or in atomic form. And that carbon, and also this process will release a lot of energy, because that will be an exothermic process. The process will be in presence of oxygen for sure. This will basically oxidize. So this is the whole burning process, the combustion process. In chemistry, we say it. So the energy released by this process will be absorbed by the elemental carbon, and that carbon will undergo absorption followed by emission. This is absorption emission spectroscopy, we say, and it is in atomic form, so it is atomic absorption spectroscopy. Inorganic people use this spectroscopy to detect elements like different metals by dipping the salt in HCl and putting it into the flame, so that they can see distinct colors. So each element has its distinct colors. So this is what is going on when the burning process is happening, and we see a particular color for that. So it's not only the carbon that's undergoing this absorption followed by emission in the atomic level, it can be any element like hydrogen or oxygen or anything. And that's the reason scientists are able to determine the composition of a star by observing the signature spectrum of the atomic absorption phenomena going on the surface or inside the star, right? Because they will emit the signature electromagnetic radiation, like the way we determine, for chemistry people, they know, like the way we determine the calcium or potassium or any other metals present in the sample, right? Okay, so like that, we objectify the the universe in five principal categories. Oh, we forgot to discuss about the space. So the space is an object which is pervading this whole scene. I mean, space is pervading all of us right now, because we know that inside the space, the nucleus of an atom is there, and that is surrounded by the electronic clouds, etc. Those are forming molecules. Molecules are forming the very body of us and all the things, right? So space is there. So any object is having these five characteristics: the color, sound, touch, taste, and smell. These are the five things. It's not necessary that all the five will be present in any one particular object, because a rock will definitely not have any taste, because for perceiving taste we need to uh, the object that we want to taste has to be soluble in water, which is the main composition of the saliva inside our mouth. So if it is not soluble, the molecule won't be in a finer form so that they can go inside the pores of the taste buds of our tongue. So yeah, those things are there. So anything has to be soluble in water so that we can perceive the taste. So any polymer, plastic, we won't be able to taste like that. But they will definitely have the distinct touch, distinct sound, color. So it's like these five these five characteristics are combining in different proportions for different objects. So these five are basically the principal or primary objects that is present in the universe, but On top of them, we are imposing or superimposing different concepts, like this is a tree, this is water, this is sky which is having blue color, this is a shape called a bridge, right? Those are the grass, etc. We don't know what are they because it is impossible to know any object. Those are the concepts introduced by the earlier human beings, and we are following those notions or those concepts because since they have proposed or they have introduced those concepts, they have also introduced the proof of validating their statement. So it's like that when you introduce some concept, you have to also introduce the proof. But when you are seeing everything as it is, you don't need to introduce any proof because truth or seeing an object as it is doesn't demand any proof. But when you are imposing or superimposing a concept, you need to bring proof because otherwise people will just discard your imagination, right? And that's what is happening throughout the centuries for the science, because each frame of reference or each concepts is discarded by the new one, and it will go on because those are all introductions, those are all concepts by the human beings to explain the actions that we are perceiving in the observable universe, like why the sky is blue. The sky is blue, this is a fact, but why the sky is blue? To explain that, you need to introduce light as an energy. We don't know what is light, but we are introducing that by saying that there must be something, some form of energy which is interacting with an object called the dust particle on the sky. We won't be able to know what is a dust particle because we can only observe the action, the interaction between the energy and the object. We won't be able to know what is energy. We won't be able to know what is object. All we can observe is the action, which is resulting in colors, sound, taste, touch, and smell. Hard fact.